You're trying to teach someone, and they just won't listen. Today, we're going to dig into a century-old secret that explains exactly why this happens, and more importantly, how you can flip this script on those homework battles and turn them into real learning moments. So let's just start with the big question, the one you've probably screamed into a pillow before. Why is it so ridiculously hard, practically impossible, to teach someone who just isn't interested? It feels like you're talking to a brick wall. Well, guess what? There's actually a scientific reason for that feeling. Let's give it a name. We'll call it the learning wall. It's that invisible shield that just pops up when a mind isn't open to something new. And understanding that this wall even exists is the very first step to figuring out how to bring it down. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Think about that late-night cram session for an exam where the words are just swimming on the page. Or that epic argument with your kid over a math problem. Or, that mandatory training session at work you were forced to sit through. In every single one of those cases, the information just bounces right off. It has nothing to do with how smart you are. It's about something else entirely. Now, here's the cool part. The key to breaking through that wall isn't some new age discovery. Nope, it's actually over 100 years old, and it comes from a psychologist named Edward Thorndike. This guy gave us the blueprint for understanding why learning can sometimes feel so easy and other times totally impossible. And this is his big idea, right here. To put it simply, for a lesson, that's the stimulus, to actually land and stick, that's the response, the person learning has to be eager and excited. That feeling, that excitement, it's not just a nice little bonus. Thorndike said it's the absolute non-negotiable main ingredient for real learning to happen. Okay, so let's really get into this. Thorndike called this whole idea the law of readiness. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a light switch for the brain. It's the brain's on switch for learning. And if that switch is in the off position, it doesn't matter how hard you try to force it, the lights are not coming on. So what does readiness even mean? Well, it's not just about sitting still and paying attention. It's a state where someone is totally prepared. We're talking mentally, physically, and emotionally to take in something new. Their mind is open, they're curious, and they're ready to make connections. Now, this is where it all clicks into place. Look at how this works. First, you have that readiness, right? That eagerness. Then you introduce the lesson. And when those two things line up perfectly, the result isn't a struggle. It's actually satisfying. Learning genuinely feels good, and that good feeling makes the new information stick even better. So what happens when we just ignore this law, when we push ahead anyway? Well, that's when we slam right into that learning wall we talked about. And trying to teach someone who isn't ready doesn't just fail to work, it can actually backfire, creating a really negative feeling about the whole subject. I mean, just look at the difference here. It is literally night and day. On one side, when you're ready, learning is rewarding and the information is locked in. On the other side, when you're not ready, the whole experience is just annoying and your brain actively fights against it. It's like the difference between planting a seed in rich, fertile soil versus just tossing it onto solid concrete. And let's be perfectly clear about this. This isn't about someone being stubborn or lazy. This is pure brain science. Shoving information at a mind that is tired or stressed out or just plain not interested isn't just hard. It is scientifically, fundamentally less effective. The neural pathways you need for learning, they're just not open for business. Okay, so the theory makes a ton of sense, right? But what do we actually do about it? How can we use this? Well, let's get practical. Here are some real strategies that anyone, whether you're a parent, a teacher, or even learning something yourself, can use to unlock that state of readiness. It all starts with just observing. Before you even try to teach, just take a second. Are they tired? Hungry? Full of energy? Then try to spark their curiosity first. Don't just announce, it's time for math. Ask a question like, hey, how many Legos do you think it would take to build a bridge all the way across your room? See, now you've connected it to something they already love. And sometimes the best tool is just choosing the right moment, maybe waiting until after a snack or a bit of playtime. And finally, you have to create a positive space where it's okay to get things wrong, because readiness just can't happen in a place that feels like a high-pressure test. So when you boil it all down, the real point is this. We have to shift our entire focus. The goal should never be to just force-feed information. The real goal should be to create an environment where curiosity can actually grow. Our job isn't to push someone through the door of learning, it's to get them interested enough to want to open it themselves. And that really leaves us with this one last powerful thought. For so long, we've been asking the completely wrong question. Instead of asking, how can I force them to learn this? Maybe, just maybe, we should be asking, how can I help them become ready to learn this? Because the answer to that question, well, that changes everything.